The first to bring you the hottest DJ gear on the planet. We are agiprodj.com.
What up? Been a while since you've seen us. We know this. We know and we apologize.
It's been a minute.
It's been longer than a minute. It's been like months. But we're here today on behalf of AGI Pro DJ, who were cool enough to send us the RELOOP neons, which we have put through our paces, and we've messed with them, and we're going to talk to you guys about what they're like, who they're for. Now I got whistling because you hit that. And we're going to try to steer you in the right direction for if this is something that you might want to add to your rig. Maybe not. Maybe you want the SP1. Maybe you want dicers. Maybe you want a Tractor X1. But all of these things are available at AGI Pro DJ. And if this gets on the air quick enough, they got all those crazy product codes, discount codes. So make sure you follow them on Instagram.
Holiday season.
Instagram. And you get all those special deals because people always say, how'd you get that for that much? Now you know. So what we're going to do is we're going to walk through these. We're going to show you some of the features on them. And we're going to keep this quick. So you got anything to add to the intro?
Let's go.
All right. So here we have the two RELOOPs. Now these are two. They do not come together in a package. You can buy two of them separately. They're retailing around 150 bucks. I've seen them cheaper, and of course if you get the right people on the phone at AGI and you buy some other stuff, they might even hook you up with a better deal. So by all means, don't be intimidated by the fact we have two. You can just use one and switch decks, but to have two is pretty dope. Now of course when you plug it in, just like all cool gear, you get the little light show. Yay. And let's talk about the units themselves. They come with a USB. Now Eloy here, which you can't see, which I'll come over here real quick.
I'll show it.
Is running through a hub, and it's an unpowered hub.
Yes, it is.
And he has had no problems whatsoever.
Honestly, for the last 2 days, I've had this on here. I had my iPhone on here. And I had a USB light that I put on my computer to make it shine. So you can see my logo on my computer. And that's a lot of stuff.
You're so vain.
Yeah.
So these things do work well on the hub, which is nice to know, because when you have some of the newer Macs, you only have two USB ports. So it's something to think about.
Yes.
Now, one of the things that is cool about this, unlike some other hardware, it doesn't matter which of these is on which side. You can plug it either way. So
for example, if you have your computer on the left side, you can go in order from left to right. Or if your computer's on the right side, you can go from right to left. But check this out. It doesn't matter. Doesn't matter at all because, for example, this is deck 1. This is deck 2. But now this is deck 2. And this is deck 1. So it doesn't matter. Any way you want. Right now I have them both on deck 1. I'm going to separate them. So this will be deck 1 for you guys at home. The camera is actually the opposite way, so that's why it's like that. So this is deck 1 and this is deck 2.
So the devices themselves, it's pretty rigid. It is plastic. It's not like some weird composite graphite.
But it's strong.
It is relatively thick. It's not super narrow. You get the Kensington lock little feature here. There you have your connection links. And one thing that is kind of cool is that the link is a 1/8 cable again. So that's kind of
But it's
nice.
a proprietary. Right now, it might be a proprietary 1/8, but we don't know exactly. You got to do some more research.
It is relatively robust. It's not. It doesn't feel flimsy. I know
rigid.
there are some devices that are you pick them up and you feel like you're playing with a toy. This feels really robust. It's very rigid. It's got the nice cushy, soft feet. So when you put it down and you start hammering on it, it's not going to run away from you.
Nope.
From wiggling and things like that. Just make sure you don't put it on like a marble table that's wet or something like that. It ain't going anywhere. The buttons are arguably some of the best buttons I've ever hit as far as these devices go. It's just enough softness. They're not super hard like plastic. So what we'll do is we'll plug this in real quick. We'll get in a little tighter on one, and we'll talk our way through all the functions. DJ Eloy is on the deck. He is going to walk us through some of these things, and I'm going to give color commentary. So why don't you go ahead and talk us through the first functionality, probably the thing that people are going to use the most with this.
All right, the most thing you're going to use with this is this hot cues.
Cue points.
Hot cues, cue points, hot loops, and more than likely the slicer. So, first things first, this is what it looks like when it boots up. Normally there's be no lights on unless you have a track loaded. So you have I have 2 cue points on this track, and I'm on deck 1 right now, but I want to go to deck 2. So now I'm on deck 2. So Josh wanted me to show you guys how fast and how good these buttons are. So let me play a track and you check it out.
Do it again. Faster! So you probably couldn't see it because the frame rate is only 30 frames per second, but as fast as you can move a finger or two in those things, it picks it up. Lightning fast responses on these pads.
Very, very fast. They are the fastest pads that I know of that are dedicated for DJ equipment. How about that?
Yeah.
That's what I'll say. Dedicated for DJ gear, I think these are the fastest pads I've seen.
I think Arab Music would be happy with these pads.
Arab Music?
Yeah.
If he was to play with these? Yeah. I think he'd be like, yo, these are dope. Alright, so next thing, slicer tool. So here's your slicer. Looks pretty familiar if you have any Pioneer gear with the nice big pads. So as you guys saw, I was slicing there.
So one of the cool things that we stumbled across is that the slicer parameters are actually able to be altered right here on the device by holding the shift button down and changing it. So if you don't want that one beat repeat, then you can go ahead and hit that button again, Eloy. Mm-hmm. The left side changes the parameter of the domain, and the right side changes the parameter of the loop.
So I'm going to bring it down a little bit, and now we're going to be able to slice faster. Hold on. Excuse me. So I'm going to change it again. Bring it up one beat now, or one slice. What is it? 1/4?
One parameter.
One parameter, yeah.
So it's pretty sweet that you can actually do that right on the unit. You don't have to go over to the computer. This really alleviates a lot of the time wasted, you know, scrolling with your mouse around on your screen trying to change parameters of different things. Slicer obviously something that has really pushed the envelope of what Serato DJ can and cannot do. Very, very cool feature. And of course, the lighting out helps too. It's always nice to have the representation of what's happening on the file happen on your device.
Yeah, and just to mention, this is working because there's a beat grid. If your beat grid is off, this is not going to work correctly. It'll show, but it may not correspond to what piece of the song you want to grab. So you have to make sure your grids are done correctly. Right. Next is sampler. So this is basically controlling the SP6 sample player in Serato DJ. So I'll just play one real quick. So there goes the sample. I triggered them. Now this also shows here you have different LED indicators that shows you how the samples work. So if I change the parameter of how the sampler works, as you see, it's switching through the different modes on there.
That's actually pretty cool. That's one of the cool features. A lot of information that comes out of this unit. Which saves you milliseconds when you're actually doing a lot of wild stuff.
Now here's something that I want to throw in here. Let's say you have a Range 61, or if you have a Pioneer DJM series mixer and you're using Serato DJ. This has navigation tools for loading decks, loading tracks. So I'm gonna scroll through right now. I'm scrolling through my library, and this allows me to scroll through and select a song. So I'm gonna pick Billie Jean, and now I'm playing Billie Jean. I'm gonna play another record, and here's Kiss Prince. So you have that ability to scroll your library. You know, it's pretty important to have that. Now, the other knob that we have over here that you can scroll through, this actually scrolls through the different loops. So if I want to just do an 8-bar loop, I can do that. Oh, actually, let me do something shorter so it can be quicker. Here's a 4-bar loop.
Pretty standard functionality on most of your external controllers and devices. Obviously, they didn't want to lose any of the functionality that we've come to learn and live with to make things, you know, too complicated by ditching some of the functionality that is a must on any handheld controller.
And just in case if it wasn't clear on how I did that, I picked which size I wanted. So now I'm on 2, and when I want to shut it off, I just click the button again, and it turns it off. You click it on, you press the button.
So unlike some devices, this is a push-in device. It doesn't have an active button for in and out.
Exactly. It's a 2-mode device. Now, there are other layers here on this device. Should we really see what the velocity means when they say velocity pad, Josh?
Hell yeah. Let's get into it.
So, let's go into, we're going to double tap sample, and now we're in pad effects. You really can't see it. It's maybe a little hard to see, but
I'll get it.
It's there. And I'm going to add some filter to Billie Jean. Oh, now this thing has a little bit to get used to because it's very sensitive. That's what they call them, velocity.
I'm going to get tight on this one so we can see it.
So if you guys notice, while I was pressing the pad, I was putting different force and pressure onto the pad, and it actually changed color to tell me that the pad was reacting. When I was at full force, you got that purple kind of, it looked, or pink, I want to say? Yeah, pink, it's pink. So it's a bright pink. There you go. So it's a darker pink, a lighter pink, and as I'm releasing, it's changing colors and releasing the actual control. And now it's back to white, if you want to call that white. All right, next on here is the loop slicer mode. Now the loop slicer mode, what it does is it actually engages a loop when you double tap it, and it creates a loop. And then from there, you slice the loop, but this is only a loop. So let me show you a demonstration now. So right now it's looping. So as I was saying, it automatically loops a section of your track, and then you can slice that loop section out. Now it actually released it, and now it's in regular slice mode.
So one of the functionalities of that does prove to be a bit of a solution for one of the few shortcomings that this device does have. And I wouldn't say it's a shortcoming for all, but as far as my style and a few of my close friends' style, we are big fans of the loop roll functionality. Now, one of the things that this does not have, it does not have pad-activated loop rolls. It does have loop rolls via the knob, which is the same knob that you navigate your loops with. You hold shift and turn the knob, and it will scroll through the loop roll. But unlike some other devices, you can't hammer on pads and jump around different parameters of the loop roll.
Exactly. Let me just show it to them.
Sure.
So I'm going to play a part of the track, and I'm going to loop now. So that was pretty short. So this is the thing. You have to select your loop roll first, the size, basically how you select the loop. So now I'm on half.
So if you use two hands, or maybe you can finagle it with one hand, you can change the parameter by turning the knob and still get that, you know, build up crescendo effect that, you know, a lot of EDM guys use with the loop roll.
Well, hold on. Let me see if you really can.
Yeah, you can. Go ahead, turn it. He's even got the EDM swagger on that twist. Like that knob's got 40 pounds of torque on it. So it's not that it doesn't have loop roll. It does have loop roll, but it's not mapped to the buttons.
You know who taught me that? DJ Nero's taught me how to turn it like that.
You know, he's all those years touring the country with that boy band. He learned how to handle knobs.
Yeah, dude. He's a serious knob turner. Anyway, so that's the loop roll. Not as cool as the dicers. I mean, that's the only thing I don't like about this unit. Alright guys, so I'm going to show you how to actually create a manual loop. So this is how you do a manual loop. You double tap the hot loop button. Well, it was already selected, so I just had to press it one more time. So I'm already here. It's in manual mode right now. Here's some audio. So I have it looped right now. I want to shut it off. There it goes. It's off at the moment.
What if you want to save it?
It actually auto-saved it just now.
Oh, there you go.
So if I want to create another one. Oh, well here. You know what? I made a mistake, and this is what I didn't realize. You have to press this button to actually move down to a different bank. So now I can make something different. So now it's saved, I'm out, and I could go back to it. And if I want to activate a loop, that's how you activate loops. So you go through your actual bank. So I'm going up and down my bank right now. Now I can activate these loops. So it's active.
Right, but here's one of the curveballs of the performance side of that. If you make a hot loop live, and you come out of the loop, the only way to get back to that loop is by jumping back before the loop happened in the track.
Yep.
And catching the loop.
And that's why we have hot loop mode.
Alright, so let's get into the hot loops a little bit.
Okay, so here's hot loops. And we've actually made some loops that were pretty pre-made. And I'm going to move back a little bit on the track. And it's pretty simple. If you have loops that are already activated, you just turn them on just as so. It's pretty simple, very normal as before. But now with Serato DJ, they gave us the abilities to jump to loops as of kind of in a way like you can use your loops in a cue point in a sense. I've been using it, but with this, it makes it easier. So how you would actually jump to the loop, this is how you do it. So right now I have the track, it's not looping, but I want to jump to the loop. I gotta press shift and then tap it. So let me bring that up again. So I'm actually looping it. It's kind of like I used the loop as a cue point in a sense, you know,
right,
without it actually being there, you know.
So instead of, it's almost as if they put a cue point at the beginning of each loop that you created. So with those two that he has right there, he can jump back and forth between the two. Exactly.
So let me jump between the two.
Now again, those are not cue points. Those are hot loops.
Hot loops.
Hot loops.
Exactly.
Hot route. Hot route.
Hot route. All right. DJ Sessions will laugh at that. All right. So now let's go into manual loop mode. So you double tap, or you just tap again if you're already in the same mode. So I'm in manual loop mode. So I'm going to create some new loops. Since I already have two on, I'm going to go scroll down to an empty third loop area.
Which button scroll?
This is the scroll to scroll between inside your loops.
Oh, okay.
Okay. And then to activate the loop would be this button. And that activates the on and off. Okay. So we're going to go to empty bank, and I'm going to create a loop even though the track has ended now. Let me go back. And I'm going to make a loop. So I just made it like a full 1 bar. What was that? 4 bar loop? No,
1 bar.
1 bar loop. Okay, 1 bar loop, and that's it. It's done. It's automatically saved it into the 3rd selection of loops.
So now if you go back and go into hot loop, you now should have 3 lights.
Exactly.
Bang.
Booyah! 3 lights.
See, the 3rd one's activated because that's the loop he's in.
Yep.
But now you can jump between the 3.
I could jump around.
They can't see your face, so they still can't see your face. He's over here mugging it up. So let's talk about the right hand sample control pads.
Sample control pads. All right, sample control buttons. So we have the sensor mode. We have a slip internal mode. We have a sync mode, which I just turned on. And then we have the shift button.
Wait, how'd you turn that sync off?
Aha! So I'm gonna turn on sync, which is gonna sound really weird. What I pressed was shift and the sync button again, and it turned it off.
So why do you think you have to hold the shift button?
Why?
Yeah.
Because if you keep on pressing sync, it's just gonna re-sync to the other track that's playing.
Ah.
Aha! For you sync guys, I love syncing. You keep on pressing this and your track is in sync. But I don't use sync, so you press that. I use sync.
We gotta just give him a look. So if you don't know, Flip is a newer functionality in Serato DJ that allows you to pre-edit your tracks and have them play back in whichever fashion that you edited them using the sensor or cue points or loops or whatever. The cool thing, this is one of the first devices that have dropped that allows you to edit those things right here on the device.
Exactly. So I'm gonna flip something, make a quick flip, and then I'll make 2 quick flips, and you can see how they jump through. And here we go. Alright, so I just made a flip. And now let's activate it, save it. So now it's saved.
And there you see it represented on the pad.
There it goes. It's on. So now when I press it,
pretty simple, effective. If you're not messing with the flip yet, and your style is original custom edits and you don't want to jump into Ableton and make them your own, it's a really cool functionality you should check out. This system does make it significantly easier because the pads are very sensitive. You can get really articulate and really fancy with what you want to do. For those that don't know, you can actually go in and just slow your tracks down and set your cue points and do it that way. Now we have these set up like so. Now, one of the things that you have to think about if this is something that you are going to get is where are they going to go on your rig? How can I transport them? And am I in a situation where the booth is going to allow me to bring 2 of these? These are all things that you as a DJ have to kind of figure out for yourself. Now in this case we got a Crane Elite, and for those that don't know, AGI does have those in stock and they are bomb, and that is a Crane Plus. Now what you're going to have to run into is nobody wants to go out and buy 2 crane stands for these things. Now they do have a bag or a lift kit coming out, and AGI will have those. They don't have them yet, but I'm sure once they drop you will be seeing them. Now make sure you're following their Instagram because they do post pictures of all of these things as they come out. But what you're going to run into is if you need to make a decision, do I need 1 of these or 2 of these, and am I going to put them at the top of my turntables? How am I going to transport them? This is, if you look at it, the size of it fits right in a 10-inch mixer. So you can actually put it right here and have no problems. Yeah. That way you're not reaching across your tone arm or anything like that. Now, me personally, I put an iPad mini here, so that really wouldn't work for me. Obviously, if you have a big enough booth, you could put them over to the side, depending on, you know, what your booth is like. But these are things you have to think about. They're not that big. You can see them in comparison to the turntable, how big they are. But these are things that you need to think about before purchasing them.
I'll say this. Over the last 2 days of using them, they were awesome, but the biggest problem was figuring out where to put them. Because, you know, I love them. They're great. They're super performance. But the dicers are just so much easier to carry.
It's true.
You know,
It's true.
they're so much easier. They're more compact. But, you know, the dicers were made for Scratch Live.
Right,
Which
but
had certain features, and this is made for Serato.
the other thing is the dicers, you have 3 functionalities. Now you can go into dice tools and things like that, some of that kind of workarounds that people have made.
Don't talk about all that extra stuff.
And you can do crazy things, you can change the lights, blah, blah, blah. But the fact is that these have a ton of functionality in a compact size. Arguably the best pads that we've both ever hit on. The velocity, as you saw in the video, allows you to do some crazy stuff. Once your fingers start to learn exactly how those pads work, you're really going to open up a bunch of windows for new styles, and all you 3-style guys are going to have a field day with these.
Just make sure that before you purchase these, you know, figure out the dimensions, you know, go online, research the dimensions, and see if it fits into your rig, into your setup, into your bags. You know, like, you know, if you're a traveling DJ, they're great, but can you lug these extra things? You know, how much more baggage are you gonna have if you're a traveling DJ? You know, flying around.
These are not game changers that are gonna like stop you from purchasing them. They're just things that you need to think about. You know, what kind of bag do you have? And I know, like I said, they do have things coming up for them for transportation and also to prop them up in your booth, so you're not reaching across tone arms and trying to figure out where to stick them.
Maybe we should show a few configurations, Josh?
No,
No?
figure it out on your own.
Figure it out on your own. No pictures from over the weekend?
I don't want to incriminate either of us.
Okay.
So once again, thanks to AGI Pro DJ for lending us these and allowing us to walk you guys through them. As usual, we did see some great videos from some of our AGI brethren, performance-wise, but as usual, we thought it would be better to sit down and talk to you guys let you know exactly what we thought of them, not what we could do with them. And hopefully that'll, you know, give you the information you need to make the decision whether or not these are for you. So once again, DJ Eloy, Joshua Carl, DJ Vic's in the building. He's silent partner today. And thank you guys very much for checking out our video. Make sure you follow me and Eloy on Instagram and Twitter. And that's it. We're out. Peace. I can rewire a computer to take a disco club into space with this. G.I. Joe did it the other day, and I can do it.